always from the heart of the city, and now on demand 24/7 on the CHFI website. This is the soundtrack to an hour spent fishing. And I'm Don Jackson, around the world on the internet. Love is the net where hearts are caught like fish. Muhammad Ali from Lost Futures, Our Forgotten Children, published by Aperture. When you fish for love, bait with your heart, not your brain. The words of Mark Twain, who knew a lot about fishing, with all the time he spent on that great river in paddle-wheel boats, and the simple rafts some of his characters preferred to navigate the river on. But it isn't love that we're in search of, certainly not romantic love. This is what the sign says that I've just hung on the door to our shop this hour. Gone fishing. I thought we could use the time off with friends and family, and lovers and other strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Molly Johnson wanting to swim with the fishes, and my oh my, and Jamie Cullum all at sea. Lovers and Other Strangers. From iTunes and CHFI.com, I'm Don Jackson. We catched fish and talked, and we took a swim now and then to keep off sleepiness. It was kind of solemn, drifting down the big, still river, laying on our backs, looking up at the stars. And we didn't ever feel like talking loud, and it weren't often that we laughed, only a little kind of a low chuckle. We had mighty good weather as a general thing, and nothing ever happened to us at all. An excerpt from The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. Now, I'm certainly not advocating that you leave all your responsibilities behind, that you run away, build a big raft, and take off downriver with no intention of ever coming back. But every once in a while, we need to cut loose and do what we can to put our troubles behind us for a while. In the heat and humidity, to be near a sparkling, slow-moving stream, enjoying the time away, is a welcome respite. That's why so many of us love our cottages outside the city. It's a place to kick back and forget the world for a while, even if we get even more stressed just trying to battle the traffic to get there. And I could name some lakes and streams where the fishing is pretty good, and one place where it's off limits. I thought you might enjoy going fishing this hour with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Robbie Robertson, Somewhere Down the Crazy River, and Alannah, Myles, and Black Velvet. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Of course, I don't have to travel that far. But the kind of fishing I practice usually means catching everything in the water except the fish. You know that the focal point of my property is obviously the pond with the koi and the goldfish. I want you to imagine that we're there right now. Occasionally, the big koi will snatch a bug on the surface of the water, and the koi are so tame you can feed them right out of your hands. but there is a big no fishing sign posted near its perimeter for obvious reasons. This is one of the most eloquent writings I've come across about the time spent fishing, written by Herbert Hoover. To go fishing is the chance to wash one's soul with pure air, with the rush of the brook, or with the shimmer of the sun on blue water. It brings meekness and inspiration from the decency of nature, charity toward tackle makers, patience toward fish, a mockery of prophets and egos, a quieting of hate, a rejoicing that you do not have to decide a darn thing until next week. And it is discipline in the equality of men, for all men are equal before fish. The words of Herbert Hoover. When the world makes little or no sense, I find just working around the pond or in the neighboring gardens helps me to regain some kind of balance, for lack of a better word. There's a lot to learn from the simple act of fishing. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. America on a Horse with No Name. Simply Read, Mellow My Mind, and Dan Fogelberg and longer. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. David Roberts from Outside wrote, I would not call myself a devoted angler. I've gone as long as 5 years without taking out a rod. Each time I start again, I am smitten by the absurdity of the sport. All that gear and men will be boys falderall about an essentially inane pursuit. And then, lulled by the rhythm of casting into eddies and retrieving across wind ripples, by the dance of the fly above the darting silver shapes, I fall into a trance. Never does time pass so unobserved. Never does one so forget the duties and sorrows of humdrum life. David Roberts from Outside. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Tim McGraw, Live Like You Were Dying, and John Lennon, Watching the Wheels. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Paul Quinnett from Pavlov's Trout, published by Keoki Company Publishing, wrote, Robert Louis Stevenson wrote, to travel hopefully is better than to arrive. This could be rewritten for fishermen. It is better to fish hopefully than to catch fish. Fishing is hope experienced. When asked, how can you fish all day without a hit? The true fisherman replies, I think I felt something. If the line goes slack, he says, he'll be back. When it comes to the human spirit, hope is all. Without hope, there is no yearning, no desire for a better tomorrow, and no belief that the next cast will bring the big strike. Paul Quinnett from Pavlov's Trout. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Righteous Brothers with an Unchained Melody, Annie Lennox, Why, and Bryan Adams and The Best Was Yet to Come. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Finally, this hour, something from the Pennsylvania Angler. What shall you give to one small boy? A glamorous game, a tinseled toy, a Boy Scout knife, a puzzle pack, a train that runs on curving track, a picture book, a real-life pet. No, there's plenty of time for such things yet. Give him a day of his very own. A walk in the woods, a romp in the park, a fishing trip from dawn to dark. Give the gift that only you can. The companionship of his old man. Games are outgrown and toys decay, but he'll never forget if you give him a day. From the Pennsylvania Angler, I'm Don Jackson, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Good night, sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.